see. No, it didn't stop. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm going to hit mute just for a second. Oh, no, it stopped. There we go. Oh, maybe it didn't. All right, let's try it again.
Conference muted.
Okay, that did stop it. That tells me it wasn't me. Anyway, I'm going to open it again. Let's see what happens here. Please hit 4-star on your telephone keypad so that you can block out any background noise that you might have. I do hear the chimes coming in, but I'm going to unmute all and turn off the tones.
Line unmuted.
So we're unmuted again. So here's what's going on. I'm talking and there's echoing like somebody's either on a speakerphone and not muted. Need to mute. Okay. 4-star on your telephone. Okay. I don't know why people call in and then pay no attention. So beyond me, Tom. Tom, are you there? Can you hear me? Tom Richardson? Tom, can you hear me?
I'm here, Joe.
Okay, I see you. I'm just seeing, I don't have I'm just trying to figure out who's making all that noise. But good, not you, I know that, but I mean.
I'm going to go to mute.
Good. Yeah, Tom, you raised your hand. Do you want to ask a question? Okay, you don't. I'm going to lower your hand. Good. Okay, everyone, please hit 4-star on your telephone. That will lock out. I can see when you do that, so please do it. Everyone. Okay. Let me see. Like a bunch of people did. Still have background noise. Hear it? Right there. I hate doing this every day. I wish people would just pay attention. All right, so I guess I'll have to mute the whole call. Oh, don't hear it now. All right, well, anyway, good morning. It's a few minutes after 11, and this is the Breakfast Club, and it looks like I'm the only moderator here, or whatever we want to call us, guest or host or whatever. I don't know. I had a call from Joe Norman, and maybe he left me a message telling me he had business with corporate today. I know Dr. Steigerwald's on the road. So I'm going to open up Tom Richardson, open up your line. I just did, and I'm going to open up another line. If you have any questions, let me just explain this to you. Let me tell you, if you don't know enough about me, I want to say this. I am not the expert with all the technical stuff, with all the what's going on in the background, all the functions of the websites. That's not me. And the reason for that is my main focus is on building. It is talking to people and communicating, and I kind of am like Henry Ford. When I need to know a question, I need to know an answer, I ask that question to the people who do know, or I go research it at the time. So I don't spend a lot of time. I know a lot of you do. You spend time on making sure you understand and know everything. And I wish I did do that sometimes, but I don't. So if you're going to ask me technical questions about the company and the direction and what they're doing, I won't have those answers for you. So that's one thing. And if somebody on the call, like Tom or Bill Peters or Terry Whitener, if you have those answers, if we get questions, please feel free to chime in, and we can handle those. I am getting some background noise again, so I don't know where it's coming from. I can't tell that right now. Bill Peters, your line is open, right? Wanted your line to be open. I think I opened it.
Can you hear me, Joe?
I do. Yep. Yeah. I do.
Line's open then.
Yep. And I wanted to do one other thing here. I want to find Terry. Terry, your line should be open as well. All right. For the rest of you, if you have a question, raise your hand. 5-star does that. And for the rest of you, hit 4-star on your telephone keypad. That will block out your noise without. I think what I could do is this. I think I can individually do this. But anyway, Let me give you, based on what I told you. Again, I don't have the answers to technical questions. What I have answers for is how to talk to people, and it's obvious the company is moving into a direction, into a format that will allow you to see, and have education on TV. I have no idea what that education will be. I don't know enough about it at this moment, what type of training it will be. I know this. I have been successful in this industry for one reason, and it's because of communicating with people and finding the interested people. That's what I do. And I think that's how you build a business, and you want to have an income. You find people like yourself who have an interest in moving a little bit of product. And I'll try this here and see if that's a problem. I don't know. I'm going to mute everybody. See what's going on here. So that's what I do. I find the interested people. The only way to do that is to communicate with some people. I'm going to have to mute the lines again.
Line muted.
Okay, everybody's muted now, so now we won't have the dog and all the other stuff. So I can open up a few lines. I am going to open up a few in a minute. But so the important thing is, this is what I teach everybody when they get started, and that is understand the difference between a home business and your brick-and-mortar business. Most of it's the same. One thing is not. You don't have a building. So that is my training when I talk to people, is that you have to create the traffic, and the traffic to your store. If you were in a mall, you'd have traffic, but you pay for that. If you were in a business, it was a store, a shopping center, brick and mortar, some type of individual, freestanding, standalone store, you still have to create traffic. Your signs, people walking by will do some of it, but you have to advertise, which means, you have to tell people you're in business. So you transfer that over to the home business arena, you have to tell people you're in business. Very interestingly enough, there is a young lady in this industry who wrote a book about all this. She happens to be a friend of mine, and her experiences over the last 17 years in networking and how important it is to tell the people you're talking to what it is that you're dealing with, what it is that you want them to look at. And at some point I'll give you the name of the book. You can go read this book, and it's very, very interesting. And it's amusing, it's funny. But the truth is, I learned something from her about telling people what you do. And instead of the old companies, not our company, but companies that would teach you not to tell people what it was, for a period of time until you get their attention and build a relationship, or at least to get some communication going and get their trust. I don't necessarily believe that you hide anything. Well, I don't believe at all that you hide it. You have to tell people what you do. If someone asked me what I do, I do have an answer for it, and that is that I teach people how to be successful from home. But that probably wouldn't satisfy a lot of people. Well, what company are you with? The questions would start. And my answer would be, I actually work with a company, who deals in gold. Now, that's the truth. That's what I do. I'm associated with a company that deals with gold. So what I'd like you to do, Frank, is take a look at this. And I do sell gold, yes, and the truth is I do sell gold. If people in this industry tell you you don't sell anything, something's wrong with that thinking. We do sell things. We sell gold. We also sell the idea of a franchise-like facility. So I call them people locations. So all that said, it looks like the company is, going to be having education on TV, and I'm sure it'll be wonderful. I am going to continue with the people that I know, continuing educating people on how to communicate properly. So that being said, it appears, and at least this is in my thoughts, to what to do with the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club has been around for 15 plus years now, and it was developed through the idea of helping people succeed in business. And all of those years, we had people coming to the call. Some people just owned brick and mortar businesses, and they would come in and we would discuss strategies on how to improve business. I never made any money from the Breakfast Club. There's not a fee to join it. It was just entrepreneurs, people that liked to help other people and get help themselves by communicating. And at one point, we did it every day, Monday through Friday. It was a 35-minute call. And we had training on those. People would want to say, well, how do I do this? How do I talk? What would I say here? And so we would designate specific days for an actual training. And the other day I spent about, I don't know, maybe an hour with a couple of people with this exact thing, teaching them what to say, how to say it, the importance of using the proper terminology. We've been through this for over a year here at KB Gold. And for those that know me, I do have a 4 and then an 8-hour class, but it's via telephone conferencing. Actually, I've done it live many times for companies to teach people an effective way to find the interested people, quick and easy way to identify them. That class takes, hours to understand, and understand that it all starts with thinking. It's not about, the scripts and the language. It is clearly about the proper thinking, and that's what that class does. So all that being said, what we're going to do with the Breakfast Club is to have classes like that or discussions like that in the future. If Joe Norman comes in for some updates, great, but I don't see why they would do that since, again, they're moving to the TV format. The Breakfast Club will not be on that TV. They have, just to be honest with you, they asked me would I do that, and since I would not be part of that particular format, I think they've designated 4 people. I'm not going to move the Breakfast Club over to there and have that format of something I don't know anything about, so I'm not going to give it over to them. I want to keep the format in an educational format so people can come in and discuss amongst each other how the business is being built and any help that they may need. And so it's not going to be an hour every Tuesday and Thursdays. It'll be probably 20 minutes to 30 minutes, which I think is appropriate anyway. And I'd like to keep it to that. And we can designate certain days for actual classes where you will tune in. It'll be muted and taking notes, and then open it up for discussions and maybe even some listening to some role playing, what it's like when you talk to someone. A lot of people need help with this. I think most people do. They're afraid to pick up the phone, and we find reasons not to do it. It's easy to send an email, but who do you send it to? Where do you get lists? How do you identify them? Where do you find these people to identify? The real answer is everywhere, because there are people everywhere. You just have to have enough information and enough education to be able to pick up the phone, to be able to find through a couple of questions whether the person is interested. You have to be able to answer, what's the name of your company? Do you make any money? How much money can I make? How does the company work? What is the name of the company? How long have they been around? Are you making any money? All of those questions have to have an answer in order to be professional and to sound like you know what you're talking about. And you have to know your role when you're talking and looking for the interested party. And I mean that by you're not the expert, you can't explain everything, and there's a technique, telephone techniques that enable you to move forward in a conversation and take 2 to 3, 4 minutes tops to find the interested party and set an appointment with them. And that's what we're going to be going to, learning how to do that. And obviously, people will get in, they'll hear that, and not getting all the updates from the company may deter people from coming to this particular format. It is for and it will be pretty generic, to be honest with you. There'll probably be people from other companies that I have associated with in the past that have continued to ask me about the Breakfast Club and education. Again, we won't be promoting KB Gold on the Breakfast Club as far as come listen to the all the information about KB. If people want to do that, they can go to the TV and to the websites and so on. What they can do is come here on a general basis and learn and educate themselves on the foundation of all this business, and that is to find the interested people. In order to grow, in order to have businesses, in order to have a successful business and a successful income, residual income, you have to be part of a system whereby recruiting never stops. That's what has to happen. It's the same thing as having a store saying, I have to have a store where my sales never stop. Our sales in this business are small individually. We have a couple of sales. Everybody gets a few sales. You won't survive just being a salesperson selling, gold or whatever company you're with. You're only going to survive if you have other people who sell some of it. And we do sell things. So we sell what it is we have to a few people, and we find other people who find other people who find other people. And guess who your customer becomes? The person you found and everybody they find to be a distributor. That's how it works. It's what this industry is all about. A lot of people doing a little. That's what it's all about. So again, you have to be part of a system whereby recruiting never stops, or you have to create one. I don't know why you would recreate a system, but so that being said, Dr. Richardson, your line is unmuted. Terry Whitener, your line.
Line unmuted.
Bill Peters, your line is unmuted. So as long as one of you three do not have barking dogs, we're good to go. Anyway, if you have any questions, raise your hand, 5-star, and I've unmuted a few people that can answer some questions, I guess. I'll tell you right now, if you want to have some questions about comp plan stuff, the guy on the phone that knows more about this comp plan than anybody I know is Tom Richardson, and he's on the call with us. Tom is a corporate man who does exactly what I don't do, Tom, which is study all that stuff and learn it and learn it and learn it, and you do. And that's, if I need questions, I push the button. I push the Tom Richardson phone number button. I should learn it. I just don't have what you have, Tom, because you studied it and you took the time to do that, and I applaud you for that.
Joe, if I can step in to help you along this meeting today, I've always looked at my home-based business as a brick-and-mortar business because I look at my home as my brick-and-mortar business. That's where I do my business from. I don't do it from an office at a brick-and-mortar company. I did that. I can do it as effectively from home as long as you have a communication with the people you want to bring into your business. So the first thing I did in my home-based business, I put together a directory where everybody who I work with or who call me, I have an opportunity for them to at least know I'm there and available for them. My philosophy with my home-based business is objective is to make a living and to earn money in whatever business I'm in. And secondly, the other purpose that a lot of people forget is that your purpose is to help other people. If you bring them into your business, you have the obligation to help them. So along the way, there seems to be a deadlock there, where the communication stops after you bring them into your business. You have to continue to be able to allow them to communicate with you. by a directory. And the directory gives them information as to who to call, to give you help, etc., etc. And then any particular information about the business you're in is available. But if you don't have the communication, your business is going to die in the vine.
Yep.
So it becomes another important part of your home-based business is that most people that you bring into it have been employees all their life. So they go by direction from the ownership. And in this case, you who bring them in have that responsibility to help them, communicate with them. I send communications out to all my people on a regular basis, trying to give them an opportunity to build a business of their own and be successful with it. It's not easy for someone who's been an employee all their life how to organize a business, set it up, get all your tax requirements, your business name, cards for your business. You have to, like you say, you have to always be in a position where recruiting never stops. And Joe, one of the things you taught me was that, if you put yourself between the manufacturer and the consumer, you have to run into business. You're there.
Absolutely.
But you have to communicate. And the one thing, you have to give them tools that they can work at. Now, you can't force people to work at this. They've got to do it on their own.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I found is that sometimes we don't tell them enough that they are in a business and here's what you have to do to run your business, how to get organized. And the home-based business has so many tax deductions. Everybody, whether they have a full-time job or part-time job, everybody should have the ability to work their business on a regular basis. Most people, for example, they really don't get organized. They go out and buy a daytimer book, and it gives you all of the information for the year. You can put down what I do in my book. I put down at the end of Friday, I put down in my book what I'm going to do next week. So now I have a commitment to do something. But if you don't put it down, you're not going to do anything. And so it does take some effort to run a business, and you'll also find very quickly that you're the only one responsible for building your business. So you have to communicate with the people you bring in, and you have to help them be successful as well. So that's my story there.
Well, good. Yeah, well, thanks, Tom. That helps because, I'm glad you brought up the daily planner because this is unbelievable that I keep doing this, but I have 20 years, Tom, of my planners that I have available to me to be able to go back. I don't throw them out because I do what you do, but I do it every night before I go to bed. I write down what I have to do tomorrow. I have a weekly plan, but I also have before I lay back. I found that it's better to do it at night instead of the morning and waking up and then trying to gather your thoughts. At the end of the day, I'm relaxing. Okay, what do I have to do tomorrow? What is my plan? Whether it's personal or business, it's my plan for the day. And so I think that's important. Most people don't write their plan down. You need a CCMP, clear, concise mental picture of what you want to achieve. That means daily, and it has to be written down. So that's why you write it down. You have a clear, concise picture. It's the same thing with a goal. You have to have a clear, concise mental picture. And it just, I think I said this a couple of weeks ago. I find it difficult at times. I did early on. They kept telling you have to have a goal. It has to be emotional. And I didn't know what my goals were as far as I wanted to make money. That's all. And that's almost not enough to motivate you to go to work diligently every day. And so, you got to find what it is that charges you up, that makes you get up in the morning, to want to have fun for the day and advance your business. A lot of people have well, anyway, the people have desires and things to do it. You have to have a clear, concise mental picture of what you want, or you're not going to get it. So that's one thing I wanted to bring up. But thanks for doing that, Tom. I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody does. Do anybody have any questions? Or, like I said, I'm going to just repeat this again. It's probably on a recording somewhere, is that they are moving to the TV format. So I believe, first of all, that we can get all the updates and things from corporate we want. What everybody, in my opinion, needs, if you're equipped to make phone calls and know how to do it, that's great. But you people probably don't. Because this is, in my opinion, this is the toughest thing to do, is to get up every day saying, I'm going to go find a new person. It sounds easy, and you think you're going to talk to all your friends, and they're all going to say yes, and you go, what the heck? They don't want gold? Holy mackerel, they don't want to be a part of this? They don't want to make any money? And I know owners of companies with unbelievable products whose friends won't listen to them and buy their product. I mean, you probably know them too. They just won't do it. So that's why early on in my career, Tom, I was convinced that the cold market was the way to build a business. Now, I'm not saying you can't build it in the warm market, the people you know, but, you can find people anywhere. If you talk to enough people, you can find a person interested in doing what you're doing, and that is to have a business at home and learn how to communicate. And I am a cold market guy, Tom. I love the cold market. I get lists and I call people and I find out within minutes whether I have an interested party, and that's what I do. So I think people need to understand that when your friends tell you no, don't get discouraged. Just, don't worry about it. In fact, I don't talk to a lot of my friends, Tom, about business. I tell them what I do, but I'm not trying to recruit them. In that route, I've done it many times in companies, and I have recruited a few. But I make them all aware that I'm in business, but I don't try to recruit them. I let them recruit themselves. I let them know the company is, looking for some good people. You guys let me know if you have an interest in learning how to make money from home. They know that's what I do. They all know I don't get up and do a 9 to 5 every day. So they can make a choice. Sometimes people follow, sometimes they don't.
Well,
but I believe, yeah.
So if I can step in and bring something to that concept there that you just talked about, is that you can't go out and sell people anything.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to buy, don't want to be sold, but everybody wants to buy something. So you approach them from the standpoint of providing them with an opportunity to look at. That's all. Like you said, you're looking for someone with an interest. And why would one be afraid to, if for example, if you tell somebody about a good movie you saw, are you afraid to do that? No, it's very, very common and very easy to do that. You can do the same thing with your business.
I think the reason people are afraid, Tom, is they don't have the. I'll bet you. Now, I'm not going to do this, but I would bet you right now that I could open up this call and ask everybody to respond to a certain question, and I bet you that, without insulting anyone, I would bet you that 90% of the people can't answer that effectively. And I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to belittle anyone, but that's my experience. We used to go on conventions, and we would take notes. My group knew how to answer that question. We would have 300-400 people at a convention in our group. And we would go around with thousands of people there, and we'd come back at the end of the week, and we'd meet in our office, and we would compare the notes, what people said, people that were already in the company, that we asked. That was our mission, was to find out what people were saying, and we asked that question. What does your company do? What do you do? And you would not believe the answers. You would not have believed some of the answers that came out of those exercises. I'm going to open up the. We have some questions.
Joe, it's Bill Peters. That's exactly why it's such a great decision on your part to continue with the Breakfast Club. And the format that you've mentioned is wonderful. You know, I'm sure Karatbars University will be a tremendous thing, but as all of us know, you can't have one answer for all people. So hopefully we'll have folks getting lots of good things from the TV, and hopefully at the same time getting lots of good things from you, because variety is really what makes us individuals. And we have to you have to formulate your own words and plan and those kinds of things. And the more that you have coming in, the better, I think.
You know what I'm going to do based on that, Bill? I'm going to invite Connie. She's been in the industry a long time. She's a friend of mine, and she is not with KB. However, I'm going to invite her onto a call to discuss her book, and the reason for that is she covers all this stuff, the ins and outs and the mistakes and the lies that have been told by people uplines who, just like Tom said, you can't sell people things like this. You know, you've got to find the interested party, and we've been sold sometimes in companies. People promised us the moon, and it's like this and it's like that, and it wasn't. And they lied, and they said they would take care of us, and they said they would be there if we need it. And before you know it, some of those big guys were offering to other companies after getting you in and going to find another deal. Nothing wrong with having a couple of companies. I firmly believe that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. I have 4 sources of income, okay? And one of them is another company where I have a nutritional product. I'm not going to be promoting, to KB people. I've never called anybody in this company. I don't like to recruit. If they're friends of mine, I do. And I brought them in, yeah. But I see no reason why. I can tell you now, I see some major players in KB. I saw a website the other day. I'm not going to mention the woman's name, but I saw a website where she's promoting, another form of income, and I agreed with her. I see no reason why she shouldn't do that. I just believe you can't put all your eggs in one basket. Have a few sources of income, and make it easy on yourself. Don't try to be promoting another gold company, or even, I do have the nutritional, but it's still, I've been with Tom the same way. Tom belongs to another company. I know that, and so does Deanna, and so on. And there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you don't, I have had some people in this company promote stuff to me. Don't do that. Don't send me things. And if you know me, that's fine. We're friends, and we've had an relationship over the years. That's fine. But some new people have gotten my name from here, and they pound me with stuff. They want me to look at stuff, and I don't think that's right. I wouldn't do that, and I don't want them to do it. So.
No, exactly, and I'm the same way. I've always not wanted just one stream of income, and that's 40 years in business. So, and it has always stood me well because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, there's many things that are out of our control. But again, I applaud you for continuing the Breakfast Club. I'm sure between the in terms of KB people, between the university and the Breakfast Club, how could you possibly fail? Unless you weren't meant to do this in the first place. So
all we have to do, Bill, is teach people the answers to things so they don't feel inadequate when they make a phone call. That's the entire reason people don't pick up the phone, is they don't want to feel like they don't know. If you got into my class, you would totally understand why you would not be afraid. You go, oh, really? That's the way? Because most people pick up the phone, Bill, and they conduct themselves as if they should know or do know, as opposed to being the receptionist who is making an appointment for a director. That's who you are. And if people would get that, they'd pick up the phone a lot easier. There's a little bit more to that concept. I also look to excuse people right away when I call them. I am looking for the first opportunity. 98%, let's call it 95% of people are not going to, be interested in what I have. I know that. So why not get rid of them first? Look for signals. and politely excuse them so you can go find the right person. And you just have to do it right.
Those are the percentage numbers, and there's no reason not to use that percentage, which is across the board with most businesses, to your advantage.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, Bill, I'm going to go to Bill Pratt here. I'm going to Bill Pratt, your line's unmuted, and your hand is lowered. There you go. Hey, Bill.
Good morning.
Morning.
I heard you say you had someone that's pretty good at, very good at explaining the comp plan.
Yes.
I like to, have that person to,
Yeah, Tom, he's on the call right now. Tom Richardson, are you there? And Randy, I see your hand raised. I will get to you in a second. But Tom Richardson, I hope I didn't put you on the spot, but I don't know anybody that knows more about the comp plan than Tom. He tore this thing apart, and he really does know it. So, Tom, do you mind if they'll ask you some questions?
Well, if you don't have time now, maybe, off the call, maybe if you don't mind, you could spend a...
Well, what is your question now, Bill? Let's try to deal with it.
Well, I'm just trying to understand basically how the comp plan works in comparison to getting promoted, along with how, you accumulate the points. And
how about if we do this? How about on Thursday morning we bring Tom Richardson back? And Tom, how about if you took 15 minutes or so and went over the comp plan?
Yeah, yeah, I could help there, Joe, but all comp plans are very difficult to understand.
Mm-hmm. They are.
What I've done, I've always gotten into the comp plan and asked the questions, and I know some of the experts can't answer the questions as well, because one thing I do is due diligence. I don't do something that I don't understand.
Yep, I know that.
And I'm more than, I don't think anybody can completely understand the comp plan, but I understand it to the level of the first two levels. There are three levels in the comp plan, and there are four sections in each of those. And the first four, basically, it's going to take a long time. We can't do it here right now.
Well, let's do this, Tom. Let's go Thursday. If you could be available on Thursday, let's have a mini class on what you understand the comp plan to be. And this will be coming from the field now, not from corporate. Joe may be there, but I'm going to make sure that, Tom, you have the floor without interruption. And even if there are some things that are questionable, we'll have people make notes. And if Joe wants to comment later, great. But I'm going to give the floor to you, and that way, and I think that's a very good thing, and I'm glad you asked that, Bill, because I myself need to understand more about this comp plan. I don't get it like Tom does, I'll tell you right now. You just heard him. This is a guy that's been in corporate for a long time, and he tears things like this apart, and I heard him just say, I don't do anything unless I understand it. And I applaud you for that, Tom. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's do that Thursday, would that work out for you, Bill?
Sure.
I can't do the whole thing, but I can do what I know.
Yeah, that's all we can do. All right, let's
take up the rankings and stuff like that. But yeah.
Randy, I got you unmuted. Welcome. Randy, area code 757. I know you're there.
Yeah, peace and blessing, Joe. This is Awad. He freewayed me to the call. I cannot call your bridge.
Oh, I tell you what, there you go. All righty. Have a question?
I come in. No, it's not a question. It's just a comment to support what you decide to do with the Breakfast Club. You're doing great, fantastic work there. I just want to add from my own experience that to what you just said, communication and relationship is very crucial to build your home business.
Yep.
And unfortunately, people are not doing that professionally. They're not successful in home business. But as you know, the best way to do business is referrals. And I have been in the referral business since 1986.
Yeah.
if you know how to do it properly with the proper communication.
Oh, absolutely. I would much rather have a referral than it going into the cold market. And you can build a referral business by asking that simple question: who do you know that would be interested in a career transfer? Right? I mean, there's many questions you can do, but yes, the referral, it'd be wonderful to be able to call Bob up and say, "Hey, Bob, it's Joe Shoop. The reason I'm calling you is that AWAD asked me to call you." That's a perfect scenario. I mean, that's exactly what I would want. Unfortunately, we don't build, and maybe you could do something for us at some day to talk about that on the Breakfast Club, about how to build a referral business. That would be good. Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, I would be more than happy to do that. I'll just add one more thing to interesting people, which is very important. The most precious commodity we have is time, and you don't want to spend your time with people who are not interested in your business. That's very important. But in addition to people who are interested in the business, I always go a further step beyond that, and I ask them about their passion, what they're passionate about, what they love to do. If money and time is not an issue, what they love to do. This is going to save a lot of time and energy when you find people who are interested in your business and they are passionate about something. It will make it much easier for you to be successful in your business. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and energy, and I'm not interested to do business with people who are not passionate, even if.
You still there? AWAD, you still there?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Okay, I just lowered your hands. You probably heard a little button there, that's all. But yeah, I'm not interested in doing business with people either that aren't interested. I mean, it's just hard. You got to find and identify it immediately. And so, we've been taught in this industry to build relationships, and it's been misunderstood. You don't build relationships on the first phone call. You find the interested party. If you build the relationship like Tom Richardson and I have done over the years, the last year, through a referral of Deanna Kennedy, it works, but you don't do that on a very first phone call. It's just not. You're gonna get most of the time a non-interested party. Why would you build a relationship with a non-interested party? Don't trick them into. Don't try to be nice because you want them to do what you want to do. You have to be businesslike. And people I know have disagreed with me with the method I teach and I try to dismiss almost everybody. I am looking for signals so that I can say, here's how I refer it to. I would rather, if I were going to have a relationship breakup, I would rather break up with her than her break up with me. I can tell you that right now. It feels better. And I don't mean to be funny, but it feels better. And I am getting rid of people who are not interested. I'm not interested in questions from them that are negative or down talk to me. I'm getting rid of the people. And I do it nicely. I do it very, very nicely, and people need to know the technique to do that.
The common ground with those people who are passionate, that they are successful in what they do. And that's the kind of people I would like to communicate with, successful people.
Okay, we have no more questions and so on. So what I'm going to do is thank everyone for being here, and Tom and AWAD, Bill Peters, and Bill Pratt, thanks for your comments and questions and input, and we'll see you Thursday morning. Tom will be prepared for that. You might want to pass the word that Tom's going to talk about the comp plan, the basics of the comp plan, things you probably have not heard before on the Breakfast Club, the way it goes. So at this point, it is 11:44. We're going to keep that Thursday morning to 11:30. I did want to explain today what we were going to do, so here we are, and we'll see you Thursday morning. Once again, thanks for being here, and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Bye, Joe.